Hi everyone, it's Cindy A. Lewis, and we are going to continue our series Learn Junk Journals with me. This is part 8, and we are covering the inside of our journal. So the most important thing is order for the inside of our journal. So we covered the outside, we're working on our signatures, and so now we're going to cover the inside. Now, one thing that we want to do is we want to have some muslin that is cut, because fabric gives, and so that's really important to your journal to have give. You can use paper, but you can always cover your muslin as well, and that way you have a lot of give when you're opening and closing the journal. Another thing that you may want to do, which I'm going to do to add a little old effect, is add some cheesecloth to the binding here. So I'm going to put a little up here and let it kind of hang off, and a little down here. So I'm going to cut some of that off, but just wanted to show you that. I don't know if you can see pretty well. Okay, so that's another thing that we're going to be adding. And then you also want to put your tie. So I have two pieces that are kind of long. These are from those headbands that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. So I'm reusing all the pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end up trimming these, but I'm using two pieces. So I'm going to glue them down really well, and I have to get them right in the right place, and then depending on how long they are, we'll cut those off. So that's another thing that you need. And then once I get that muslin put down, then I'm going to add some paper covers to that, and it's going to cover up the muslin. And then I have a pocket that I'm going to put on the front, and it'll be like this. This is a piece of burlap. I already put some buttons on this inside. Then I'm going to take a little piece of the Freedom Independence paper and make a pocket. And then I have a cute little old looking envelope that I purchased at Amazon that I'm going to put on here as well. And I may put a little Velcro on here just to make it be able to close and open, and may put something in there, I'm not sure yet. But anyway, the only other thing I'm going to do is show you how I'm making a little half circle in here, and so I'll show you how to do that. And then we are going to take some corners, book corners, and cover the book corners on all four corners so that it has a really nice finished look. So anyway, I have all my tools here. I have some Tombow Mono Aqua Liquid Glue, and then I also have some double stick tape that's a 1/4 inch, which I really like this tape, and it's very good to hold your pockets if you don't sew them. And so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this cheesecloth a little bit so that it fits just right in here in the spine. And I want it to, let's see, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to glue that down right here. And then I can always trim it. And then here at the bottom, I'm going to put some as well. Trim that. You can always use these pieces, so don't discard them. And I'm going to put some here as well. I'm just going to glue that down. This Tombow Mono Liquid Aqua Glue, or however you say it, is really good. It dries hard and it holds really well. I use it only because I had seen Jessica Huffman use it from I'm a Cool Mom, so it really works well, and it lets you move your papers around if you need to, and then it dries really nicely and hard. Okay, so let's see. My cheesecloth is not all stuck down, so all right, so we've got that here at the top and at the bottom. All right, now the next thing I need to do is put down my tie, and I want my tie, I'm going to put it about middle way, and I'm going to start in the spine and then glue it down from here. And I want to make sure that I glue it really well. Even though I'm going to put some stuff over it, I want to put plenty of glue to hold it really well. And if you notice, it's striped, so I'm going to put the red stripe at the top so that I make sure I do that on the other side as well. Okay, and as I said, I'm going to be trimming that, so I'm not worried about how long it is right now. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this other side, and you can see I have a lot of glue, but that's okay because I want to make sure this glue holds it down really well, especially since it's going to be tied and untied. All right, and remember, red at the top, so I'm going to do this here. And that should be good. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is put down the muslin, and we're going to start in the center here. And so I'm going to put down quite a bit of glue in the center, and I have to cover that cheesecloth that I put in there. And I'm just going to use my finger to spread it a little bit to make sure that it's all in there, because I want to make sure it covers well, because it's really important for it to stay down. Okay, so I'm going to fold this in half. I guess this is my way of getting it in the center. Okay. All right. So now you want to make sure you kind of work with it a little bit, because you're going to open and close this book a lot, or whoever you're making it for. And so you want to make sure that you're not making it too tight. Now if I want to make sure that I get it in this crease here, this hinge. So I'm going to put some more glue there. And make sure that that is glued down well. Now this is also going to help hold the hardware that's on the cover. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this hinge here. I'm at the end of my glue here, so. But I really do like this glue, so if you haven't tried it, you may be interested to try it. Okay. Now, it doesn't have to go all the way to, the end, end of the book cover, because I am going to be covering that with paper. All right, now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go glue this side, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I put the glue down and I've kind of smeared it flat, and so now I'm going to take my muslin over and just make sure that it lays flat. Now you can use something other than your fingers, but sometimes your fingers can feel, whereas a tool you may not be able to, and then you can fix your wrinkles if you have any, or if you want wrinkles. So just make sure you don't lose your creases. Okay, and so it's going to go down like that, so I'm going to do the other side. Okay, so now I'm ready. I have my muslin covered, I have my tie ribbon in here glued down. It is still a little bit wet, but that's okay. I have my cheesecloth to make it look old. I'm going to take my paper that I cut to fit, and it's going to be like this. Now, the thing that I'm doing differently is my, I'm doing a hidden spine. So I'm going to have some book cloth that will come here over, and I'll go over the paper a little bit, but that's okay because I'm going to cover that anyway, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'm going to push this up a little bit because we want to make these, put these covers down before we put on our book corners. So I'll move those out of the way. And basically, I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this page and then glue that down. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the front. So I know this is white, but one thing you want to make sure that you do is you get it all the way to the edge, because you don't want your edges popping up after you've glued them down. And so I'm trying to show you, but it's kind of hard to show you and hold it. So I'm just going to smear this glue on here. But I want to make sure it gets all the way to the edges without gluing my cutting mat. All right. And I did distress the edges or blend the edges with some brown dye ink. It's called Cocoa. And so I'm going to use that. Now this is one of the papers that I'm using inside the journal and some of the signature pages, so it will go with it pretty well, I think. All right, you can see that. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing with this. Oh, and by the way, when I sewed my buttons on, I did glue them in as well, but then I held them with my washi tape. So I can leave that on or take it off. The glue's about dry. I think it's fine, but I just wanted to show you that little tip. All right. Okay, now I have both inside covers on. I am going to add this burlap that I was telling you about. And I don't think it's going to bother the book corners, but we'll do those in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down the burlap first, and then I'm going to glue this down, which will be a pocket, and then also the envelope. Now, I did want to show you that I'm going to make this a half. So I'm using my circle punch, and let me take those out. Using my circle punch, and I'm going to line it up halfway. If you can see that. You can see. I'm lining up halfway, and I'm going to punch. And you can see that I've got mine. And I'm going to give it a little color on that. I'm just using a little carpet thing from the Dollar Tree that I put on a pill bottle. And that works just really great as a blending tool. Alright, so now I've kind of distressed the edge a little bit, and I'm going to glue that on after let me get this on. So let me do that real quickly. Okay, so I've glued down my burlap, and now I'm going to put the double stick tape on 3 sides here of my Freedom paper. And like I said, this tape works really, really well. So make sure I'm in frame here. And just glue that, tape that on, honestly, sorry. And I've got a little bit of the cocoa dye on my fingers, but that's okay because I'm trying to make it look old anyway. All right. All right, so on this tape, this is from Tuesday Morning, but you can get it just about anywhere. Tuesday Morning does have a good price. I think it was $1.99 for the roll, which is really a good price. But you need to make sure that it sticks down really well, and then you just pull this top off, if you can see that, and then it sticks really, really well. Okay. I'm getting my fingerprints all on it, but that's okay. I made it, all right? All right, so I'm gonna stick this on here. Hopefully that is dry enough where it's not gonna stick to it, but we'll see. Okay, and then this I'm just going to glue down on the outside like this. And like I said, I may put a little Velcro here for that. Okay, I think that's gonna hold. Okay, so that's our inside, and here's our outside. And I'm still going to put a name here in this little frame. And I have my tassel and charm done, which you can see in a previous video. So now, I'm going to take these, and they're pretty much on there. Let me see, this one, got to make sure it gets over my paper on the inside as well. And my glue is still wet in there, so I'm gonna, there we go. Okay, put that over the edge like that. And then you're just going to clamp it into place. And that glue is going to help hold it as well. So you can see. Okay, so I'm going to do the other four corners and I'll show you how they look. Okay, so we have our four corners on and they look great. So we've got those covered. So then the last thing that we're going to be working on is decorating our journal and all of our signature pages. So I'm going to be finishing up some of the decorating I wanted to do before, like sewing and everything, before actually putting them in the journal and sewing in the signatures. And then we'll get done and we'll get to do a flip through and everything. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you watching the tutorial on how to learn junk journals with me and doing the inside of our journal. And I just appreciate you joining me on this journey. So I hope I've inspired you to create, and have a nice evening. Until next time, thanks.